Welcome back to The Evil Within, my friends. This is the last chapter of the game and it's called An Evil Within. I know, quite an original name. And in this chapter there are 6 collectibles for us to obtain. However, keep in mind that in order to obtain the every Nook and Cranny trophy, there is one more collectible that we need to obtain in New Game Plus on chapter 2, which is Sebastian's missing person poster, but I will show you how to obtain it as well. There are no keys to obtain in this chapter, so we've already obtained the last key in chapter 14. And right at the start of this chapter there are 2 collectibles for us to obtain. So we're going to go ahead and get them. As you noticed, Tatiana isn't around anymore. She disappears once you find her missing person poster on chapter 14. The first collectible that we're going to obtain is the missing person poster. I believe it's the missing person poster of a young Kidman. At least it looks like her. I mean, take a look at the picture. Doesn't it look a little bit like her? It does, to me. There are a lot of things that are left to be explained in this game. And this is the second collectible, and it's an interview process. Castellanos was being interrogated by the authorities because apparently he went rogue and was searching for his wife on his own, and he didn't always use the most ethic methods, and his superiors apparently didn't approve of that. But like I was saying, in this chapter there are no more keys to obtain. The only thing that we're going to do before we properly start this chapter is do a few more upgrades. I'm going to max out the firepower of my Magnum and my sniper rifle. If you've been following my walkthrough so far, you should have plenty of green gel to do this. However, you don't need to necessarily max them out. I find that a Magnum and a sniper rifle with a damage multiplier of 3 is more than plenty. But if you want to speed up the process a little bit, you should max it out. I'm also going to max out the range of my explosive bolts and also increase the duration of my flash bolts, and that's going to be very useful for crowd control in the upcoming fights that we'll have. This chapter will be divided into 2 parts like I did with my walkthrough for chapter 10, and the reason why I'm doing that is because it's a very long chapter. There are a lot of cutscenes, so I figured it made sense to divide it into 2 parts. I hope you guys don't mind. You can come back here and collect any ammunition that you have left. As you can see, I have plenty of ammunition left, and really that's the benefits of conserving your ammo in the earlier chapter. The benefits obviously are that you reach the end of the game and you have plenty of ammunition to spare. So first things first, let's meet up with Leslie.
This way.
So for this first part, this first segment, all that you need to do is keep following Leslie. There are no battles, so you don't really have to worry about anything. However, there are collectibles for you to obtain, which are easy to miss considering you just assume that you just have to keep following Leslie and not pay attention to your surroundings. Well, that's not the case. So the rest of the collectibles in this chapter are actually going to obtain during this sequence where we follow Leslie. The next collectible that we're going to obtain is an audio tape. There's Leslie, let's keep going. But there are certainly a lot of elements in this game that I mean, we're in the last chapter of the game, and I think that it's all still very confusing, if I do say so myself. I mean, we can understand parts of the plot, but there are a lot of elements that are left up in the air. So I'm hoping they explain a few things in the meantime. And here we go, under a pile of rubble again. Apparently we keep teleporting from one area to another. And once again we just have to keep following Leslie. Inside the Beacon Mental Hospital, we're finally here, our final destination. You can see it all the way over there.
Beacon, just like Joseph said.
Boy, I hope Joseph made it. He was looking in pretty bad shape though at the end of chapter 13. There's Leslie again. I'm going to break these two boxes, there might be something inside. A little bit more green gel. Can't say I really need it at this point, but doesn't hurt to have it, especially if you're planning on doing a new game plus. And here we are,
I knew it.
in the same place that we started in chapter 1. There's another green gel bottle to pick up behind the counter, so let's get that. And now we're going to keep moving ahead, deep into the underground area of the hospital. But yeah, I do hope they clarify the story a little bit more. I heard there's going to be DLC, which further explains the plot of the game. To me that's a cop-out. I hate that. I mean, that game companies, we're already charged like 69 bucks or 69 euros or whatever to obtain these games, and we still have to buy DLC to fully get the proper ending of the game.
Until absolute darkness overtook me. Darkness and pain. 1,000 other sensations as they probed my cerebrum, examined my work. An eternity of intensity. Pain. Pleasure. Rage. Ecstasy. Blending together into a single piercing noise. Until the darkness was broken by sparks, like twinkling starlight. The pain, the noise, the light blends together, takes shape. It's a place I know so well. My prison. My home.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know why anyone would feel bad for Ruvik. I mean, he was a victim of his own experiments in the end. Let's not forget how many innocent people he killed just to further his experiments. So I can't really say I feel bad for the guy. Okay, as we go through this door, turn to our left and there's more green gel and a few parts to pick up. And as we approach Leslie, there's going to be another collectible for us to obtain. So turn around. They're very sneaky the way they do this, but this collectible is actually located precisely in the same place where we found the very first collectible in chapter 1. And you should keep heading back, because inside this door there are a few more parts to pick up. And they'll come in handy for sure. Even though I doubt that, if, like I said, if you guys have been following the walkthrough, you shouldn't have any lack of ammunition. And now Sebastian once again uses his iron hands to break through the steel chain. You know, that's just how he rolls. I'm still surprised that he's afraid of facing any boss in this game, considering he could just probably punch punch a hole through them, but you know, I mean, you can break steel. There's a few sniper rifle bullets to pick up here. I don't need it, but I wanted to show you guys that they are here. Though I think it's a little bit silly that you have to go all the way around just to find 2 sniper rifle bullets. You'd think that the rewards would be a little bit better. But yeah, to my previous point, I really hope that at least the ending offers some more clarification on the plot. Because there's just so many elements that we still have to understand, like what are Kidman's motives. We need to understand a little bit more about Sebastian and Mira's past. We need to know a lot more about Ruvik. I mean, we know he was betrayed by Jimenez, and that he was used as a guinea pig for his own experiment. But what else? You know, I just think that there's a lot to explain, left to explain. I think the one conclusion I know for a fact is that we seem to be inside Ruvik's mind, and this is all a product of his sinister imagination, I guess. In here we're going to find another audio tape, so I'm going to let you guys listen to it.
By the time I realized Jimenez had betrayed me, it was too late. I was so close. He knew it. Knew that I was too focused to notice when he brought those men. They'd never gotten past my traps otherwise. Their device is a perversion of my own. The device I should have created. My data, my equipment, my theories, my mind. They replaced my husk of a body with a new dimension of torment.
Okay, well, once again, can't really feel bad for Ruvik. I mean, the pain that he was enduring was the pain that he brought upon a lot of his victims. Or his test subjects, whatever you wanna call them. There is one more collectible to pick up in this chapter, and it's the last map fragment in the game. So we're going to do that we're going to obtain that in a little bit. I recommend that you take this opportunity while the elevator is going up to prepare a few explosive bolts, flash bolts and shock bolts. Because you will be needing them fairly soon, and we are about to start engaging our enemies. We still have to wait a little bit longer. First, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and obtain the last map fragment in the game. First, let me pick up this green gel bottle to our right, and now as we head down through this door, we need to go all the way down, and we'll be able to collect a little bit more green gel, as well as the map fragment. And I believe that the reward that you get for collecting all the map fragments, there's a map in the safe room that you can inspect, and after you inspect it in a New Game Plus, after collecting all the map fragments, you should get a new sniper rifle that's like more powered up. I think so, but don't quote me on that. Okay, so we're going to move ahead and witness a little cutscene.
Leslie?
You know what, guys? If you pay close attention to this segment, doesn't it seem like Leslie is walking in the same way that Ruvik walks? Like, to me, it seems that at this point, precisely at this point in the game, it's like Leslie is being mind controlled by Ruvik or something. Because that's not the way he walks, that's the way Ruvik walks. And the way he just like smiled at Sebastian, it was very cryptic and creepy. So maybe Leslie at this point is being guided towards Ruvik. You have one last opportunity to make upgrades here. I'm not going to make any. You can save your game as well. Might not be a bad idea because we are about to start engaging in a lot of fights. And as we progress towards this last section, we're just going to witness another cutscene. And after that, be ready, guys, because the fights are about to start. And we are going to cross 4 fairly difficult areas. First, let's listen to this guy.
Watch out for his eye.
What?
If you want to live, you avoid Ruvik's eye. Watch out for his eye.
What's that supposed to mean?
You'll see.
And we are back. We somehow got inside his cell. And this is the missing reporter. We found his missing persons poster in chapter 14. Apparently he was just waiting to give us this final message and then he died. I start to understand the reason why. I mean, he offers Sebastian advice and then he dies. Well, that's left to be explained as well. Okay, it's time to start the first segment of the final battle. The way this area works, guys, is you'll have to cross 4 areas, and after you cross those 4 areas, eventually you will reach Ruvik. In this first area, we will have to beat a bunch of haunted and the sadists. So first things first, it's not that hard if you know where your enemies are going to appear, and they appear always in the same locations. So have your flash bolts prepared. As you climb upstairs, there will be 4 enemies jumping down. Charge up your flash bolt, and as they all land, just shoot a flash bolt on the floor, and that way you'll be able to stun kill all 4 of your enemies before they have time to attack you. Now quickly, you're going to turn around. I recommend, you don't have to do this, but just to be on the safe side, I recommend that you use the sniper rifle to take out the haunted with the machine gun, because he can deal heavy damage. And now we're going to use our shotgun to burn these guys down. If you can get them in a group, the better, but there's plenty of ammunition to collect in this area, so you don't need to worry all that much. Now move to this area and have an explosive bolt prepared. We're going to face a doppelganger now, as well as a bunch of haunted, but if you use an explosive bolt, he won't even have time to approach you, and you can take them all out before they even get up. Here's the doppelganger. We're going to use our explosive bolts, 1 bolt and 2 bolts to take care of the right in the butt. There we go. And now we're going to set up a few traps, because there's going to be haunted following us upstairs in a while. So I recommend that you can use either shock bolts or explosive bolts. That way they'll be able to stall your enemies for a little bit and prevent them from coming after you. Let me set up another explosive bolt here. And you saw that wave pass through the screen. That means that there are more enemies coming. 3 of them jump from upstairs again. So once again we're going to use another flash bolt. Here they come. Charge up the flash bolt. Wait for them to jump down. Use it. And once again you can stealth kill them. If they land close to each other you can actually burn them together. But whichever method you use you'll be fine. And now as you turn around, as you can see, there are already a bunch of haunted coming forward. But that's where the explosive bolts come in. They'll stall your opponents and actually break them into tiny little pieces. So you can make a stand here, I recommend it. Oops, I didn't want to throw that explosive bolt there. But it's okay because once the dude passes by it will explode. Bye bye. And let me throw another explosive bolt down there, and that should take care of those last two. And here comes the sadist with the rocket launcher. It's gonna be a little bit more tricky. Oh, there was another one left. Just die, please. Burn. Okay, now we're going to use our sniper rifle to catch the sadist. We have to make him dispose of his rocket launcher. You do need to be careful though, because while these eyes offer cover, sometimes you can hit them by mistake instead of hitting the sadist. And since it's a little bit unclear with the blood on the screen, you might not be sure if you hit the sadist or if you hit the eye. But 2 shots and the sadist should drop the rocket launcher and he will pick up a chainsaw and come after you. So what I'm going to do here is just wait for him here with my shotgun. And I just wasted a shot, that was silly of me. Die. One more, there we go. If you feel that you need to do something else, you might want to throw another shock bolt down by the steps or an explosive bolt, and then he'll go down before he even reaches upstairs. And now this first area is clear. The second area is really simple, so you've got nothing to worry about. But before you move towards the next area, I recommend that you go around the room and collect all the items that are around in this area, and also pick up any green gel that your enemies might have dropped. Again, while I'm not going to use any more green gel in this sequence of events, you might want to save it up for your New Game Plus, since it does carry over to my knowledge. I think I've collected most of the things here. There should be a few more parts to pick up right here, and a few more sniper rifle bullets. In the next area we're going to be using our sniper rifle. And what happens in this area, on each side there's a guy with a Molotov cocktail and a guy with a sniper rifle. You can start by taking down the guys on the left side, and the guys on the right side should leave you alone. So you can take care of these two first. Depending on how powerful your sniper rifle is, it might take you 2 shots to take them down. As you saw, my damage multiplier for my sniper rifle is maxed out, that's why I'm taking them down with a single shot. But otherwise 2 shots should get the job done. And as you can see, it's really easy, you have plenty of time to do this. You got nothing to worry about. We're going to move upstairs now, and we're going to enter the 3rd stage of this section. And in this third stage we are going to battle 2 keepers. That might seem a little bit harder than it actually is, because I think I found a pretty decent strategy to take care of them, and I think this strategy might work out for you guys as well. You should have, just in case, 2 shock bolts prepared. Also have 4 explosive bolts prepared, and have your magnum in hand. We are going to use it. I mean, it would just be wrong of me to complete this game without using the magnum at least once, right? Pick up these parts. As we pull this lever inside this room, that's where the keepers are. So I'm going to place 2 shock bolts on the floor to stall the keepers if they passed these 2 shock bolts will essentially work as lines of defense. In case the keepers come charging at me, they will be momentarily stunned. Just move forward a little bit and they'll appear. I think the keeper on the left is weaker than the keeper on the right. Oh, 4 shots of the Magnum and actually 3 shots are enough to take him out, but the other one is a little bit more powerful. Remember, I have my Magnum maxed out in terms of firepower, but as you saw, and I threw an extra explosive bolt that I didn't need to, but as you just saw, I was able to take both of them out. I still had a shock bolt prepared, so even if you don't have your Magnum and your explosive bolts maxed out, don't worry too much, because as you saw, with the second shock bolt, even if they passed my first line of defense, they would have been stunned by the second shock bolt, and then I could have just kept firing at them with explosive bolts until I took both of them down, even at the same time. And I used 2 shock bolts, but you can even use 3, you know. So really, with this game, as long as you know the way that the enemy behaves, it's really easy to come up with a strategy to handle them. Obviously, if you're playing in Akumu mode, it's gonna be a little bit more tricky. They have more health, but you can still use this strategy and it will most likely work.
Ruvik.
I created this world. You cannot keep me here.
The way Ruvik talks reminds me of a game. I can't quite remember the name right now of the game, but there was this boss that talked in a similar manner to him, and we could just see his figure in the background. It was really creepy. Okay, the way this section works is you see these like spotlights moving around the screen. Well, if you step into one of these spotlights, you'll be moved back to the start of this stage, of this area. So you have to avoid them to save up time. So if you follow my path, you should be good to go. This area is probably the most tricky part, because it's a very confined section, and there's a light moving, and there are 2 lights moving here, one from above and one from below, and you don't want to get caught in between them, otherwise you'll have to start the stage from the beginning, and you obviously don't want that. Now we're going to push the left lever right here, and there are 3 spotlights moving around here, and what we're going to do is wait for them to move forward and then pass behind them. Be careful, because there's a time bomb here. I'm not going to disarm this time bomb because it's a time bomb that has a very small blue section that you can actually press. It's not impossible to do it, but I'm getting so close to the end of this stage that I'd rather be safe than sorry. We're not quite in the clear yet, though. Now, don't be fooled here, because you can die in this section as well. As you see, there's these puddles of blood, and if you take too long, Sebastian moves slower when he's inside, and if you take too long, that machine will catch up to you and kill you, and you don't want to die when you're so close to the end of the game. I recommend that you might, if you want, you might want to save the game one last time. I did, just to be on the safe side. But that's actually going to do it for this segment of chapter 15, my friends. I really hope you guys don't mind, but like I said, there's still a lot of cutscenes that are going to happen, and we still have the final boss fight. So if I made it in a single video, it would be like probably over 50 minutes long, so I thought it was best to divide it into 2 sections. But we're about to have the final confrontation with Ruvik. So I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to watch. I really hope my method to approach this chapter is useful to you guys. Thank you for taking the time to comment and liking the videos. And I will release the last part very soon. So stay tuned and let's bring Ruvik down together. Take care, my friends.